Goal setting for your company. Today, we're going to be talking about OKRs, objective, key results, and initiatives. Hey, and welcome. It's day 14 of our 90-day comeback game plan. I've been walking you through all kinds of different things, product, marketing. We talked a little bit about mindset and so on. Today, I really thought it's a good topic that kind of adds on from yesterday, where we talked about the marketing MVP. And we're going to be discussing objectives, key results, initiatives. It is the summary of so-called goal setting for the company. Let's back off a bit and kind of discuss a general philosophy or concept. Anything that gets measured actually gets worked on and gets improved. And I think that's a general key concept. So it would be super easy to just say, yeah, what, and what are we working on and so on. But however, an absolute essential thing. If people don't understand why they're working on something, it's very difficult to actually draw people in. And obviously, Simon Sinek's Start With Why, a very famous TED Talk. You could just look it up on YouTube. And at the end, he talks about you should start with why. He goes on and says you then follow up with the how and then the what. I believe for the company, the best is to really go with the objective. That's the why. Then you go with the key results. These have to be very, very clear metrics, and that's the what. And then at the end, you do the how, which are the initiatives. So this is how this works, and this is what you should be doing for yourself. Generally, you have a few objectives, right? Maybe one, two, three are absolutely okay. For example, if I look at our objectives at the moment, there's really two key objectives. On the one hand is really the brand building, getting that reputation and that brand back. And then on the other hand, really get work on have a sustainable company again, right? In a sense where we want to make more money than our expenses. And these are the two main things. Now, you can say obviously they align, but they don't necessarily have to, because you may actually make a lot of money, but your brand reputation doesn't really go up, or your reputation goes really well, but you're not really making money again, right? So these are the real crucial things. And so that's kind of where we start. So we have those two large objectives. We have shared this with the company, and everyone kind of understands this, right? So we've been discussing this. We go into the specifics in the company way more than I want to do this here. And so if we look over the last 2 weeks, obviously we've really been working hard on this, on the brand, and obviously winning customers back, getting customer funds in. And I'm going to give you a few updates on this as well, but I want to tell you one thing already up front. In those 2 weeks, we actually turned around a couple of things. First, I do think our brand reputation is going up. I think people perceive us way better already. The fear kind of goes away, so this is really, really good. And then on the other hand, we do have customers returning. We have, for the first time in a long time, actually positive weeks when it comes to KYC numbers. We actually had negative weeks in those 8 months of the winding up application because people wanted to delete their accounts. And now we actually have people coming back. And at the same, we actually have positive inflow days and positive inflow weeks for the first time, I think, since September, October. So this is really constructive and is very powerful. I want to be very clear, this is just a drop in the bucket right now. So these numbers definitely still have to grow. Like this is really definitely not it, but at least it's a start. It's a start in the right direction, and to be frank, this is really what matters. Now, you need to kind of wonder or ask yourself for your own organization this as well. Is the objective? Again, if you have too many, it gets a bit confused and confusing, and it's not really clear. I also think the objective really has to come top down. So you as the CEO need to go and say, these are the 2, 3 objectives that we are working on. Obviously, objectives can be on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on an annual basis, but generally they are a bit on a longer time horizon. So right now with those 90 days, it's very, very clear, right? We work on those, and that's very, very straightforward. Now the next thing is you break those objectives into what's, into goals, into KPIs, key performance indicators. These have to be things that are very clear, measurable. Obviously, they have to align with the why, with the business outcome. And yeah, that's obviously a very crucial topic, because humans are insanely good at optimizing their work for these key performance indicators. So, for example, right, if we look at our system and we're like, okay, what we really want to look at is we want to look at how many people log into the app. Then, if I would give this as a KPI to the marketing team, and that would be the only KPI, I mean, I'm sure they could somehow find very low income generating app users, maybe even bot farmers, right, who then do nothing else than log into the app, and we hit that target. But we all know this is not what this ends up on. So it's unlikely that this is going to be our main KPI. Actually, our main KPI is customer funds. How many customer funds get allocated into all those tools or all those services and products, right? And that's the real crucial thing. And if I look here over the next 90 days, I think, for example, obviously it depends a bit on where you're starting from, but for example, a realistic number there could be that you grow these assets by, let's say, 50%, right? This is a rough number. Growing these assets by around 50%. And the crucial thing here is, especially in crypto, you probably have to measure that in coins. So measure it in Bitcoin, for example, because otherwise it's too tricky if actually just the price goes up by 50% and you think you did a good job, but actually you would do a way better job just being a fund manager. So this is a key number in this. Then obviously you have other KPIs. Other KPIs are, for example, actually the app users. But obviously these are follow-up numbers from the first one. Another one is up, for example, transaction volume or fees generated. And this is also a crucial number, right? So if I look at those, then I can really go and say, well, fees generated, obviously the ideal would be that fees exceed expenses, right? That would be the ultimate, right? To be very clear. And now comes the tricky part in all of this. If you now go and you do performance reviews based on the OKRs and only on the OKRs, you're going to have this issue that people don't want to set aggressive OKRs because they're worried that if they don't hit their targets, that at the end they are being penalized for those things, right? So you have to be a bit careful there. When we now go to the next step, which are the initiatives, so these are the things that people do to get there. Many times, I actually believe it makes more sense to measure people's output or actually measure people's performance on these initiatives. Are people actually doing these things that you commit them on doing, and you align this with the team principles? If you get there, I think this is really, really a crucial step, in my opinion. So, our performance reviews based on the team principles, based on these initiatives, I think makes way more sense than going just on the outcomes, because otherwise sometimes people are really scared about the outcomes and they don't want to set them aggressive, and on the other hand they optimize and kind of game the system a bit. So I think this is really, really key in this bigger picture to understand. Now you may want to, depending on the time frame, maybe halfway through or something, look a bit where's the organization. If you're too far off, then ask yourself why. Is it because the initiatives weren't met, or were there just other, I don't know, circumstances that well, kept you from actually reaching your goal, or kept you from going where you wanted to go? So these are just some really, really key ideas and to understand. In general, the way I would do this is the objectives have to be set by you as the CEO. The key performance indicators should be coming from the team leads with alignment with you. Many times it's difficult for you to really know what's possible there, so you're going to have to do this together. And then the team leads really need to work out the initiatives, the things to do with their team to really kind of get going. So this is how to work this out. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think there are improvements necessary? Do you think there are changes necessary? Would be very interested to hear. Other than that, I hope you get value out of this. If you do, click like, click subscribe. Tomorrow, we're starting week 3. We're starting day 15. So it's going to be really exciting. I hope you're staying tuned. See you tomorrow. Yours truly, Julian. Bye-bye.